I don't attend parties if I was never on the original invite list. You see, for black people, the Freedom Party was never intended for us. Look, the 4th of July is about America's independence in 1776, right? Flags waving, barbecues popping, fireworks lighting up the sky. But for black folks, this day can feel like a slap in the face. Let's unpack some reasons and stories that'll make you think twice about waving that red, white, and blue. When the Declaration of Independence was signed, proclaiming all men are created equal, over 500,000 black people were enslaved in 13 colonies. That's about 20% of the overall population in America back then. These people were living in chains while the founding fathers toasted to liberty. And get this, 41 of the 56 signers of the document owned slaves themselves, including Thomas Jefferson, who enslaved 175 people in 1776, and he actually bumped that number up to 267 by 1822. So we're supposed to celebrate a freedom that didn't include us. Nah, that's like throwing a party for a club you're not even allowed to join. Imagine you're invited to the biggest party of the year, right? Everyone's hyped, talking about how the celebration of freedom is for all. You show up, but the door is locked tight for you and your crew. Inside, you hear music, you see lights, but you're stuck on the outside in the cold. Well, that's the 4th of July for black Americans back then. Promised a good time, but barred from the real celebration of independence. And honestly, some of us still feel that lock on the door today, with systematic issues keeping us out from true equality. Let's talk about the legend, Frederick Douglass, who dropped one of the most motivating speeches ever on July 5th, 1852, called "What to the Slave is 4th of July?" He straight up called out the sham of celebrating liberty while black folks were still in bondage, saying, "Our rejoicing was empty and heartless, and the nation's liberty was a hollow mockery." Douglass was speaking for enslaved people who saw the holiday as a cruel reminder of their suffering, not a cause for joy. His words still echo: how can we celebrate a day that ignored our humanity? Picture this: someone hands you a slice of birthday cake, but when you bite into it, it's bitter as heck. Turns out it's made with salt instead of sugar, but everyone else is eating the sweet version, telling you to smile. That's what the 4th of July feels like for many of us. A celebration that tastes bitter because it's built on a history of exclusion and pain for black Americans. We're not about to fake a smile for a holiday that didn't have us in mind. Historically, the 4th of July wasn't just a day of exclusion, it was a dangerous day for black folks. After the Civil War, during Reconstitution, some black Southerners tried to celebrate with parades, but by the time Jim Crow laws rolled in, showing any kind of patriotism could invite violence from white folks who saw the day as theirs alone. Even today, some of us feel that tension, knowing this holiday doesn't fully represent our story or safety. So, why should we celebrate a day that's been a threat to our existence? Now, let's flip this to something real: Juneteenth, the day that marks the end of slavery in 1865. That feels way more relevant to black freedom. It's a federal holiday now, and for many of us, it's a true celebration of our liberation, not the 4th of July, which honors a time when our ancestors were still property. Why not pour energy into a day that actually reflects our journey to independence instead of one that is tied to our oppression? Celebrating the 4th of July can feel like being handed a trophy for a race that we didn't even get to run. Meanwhile, Juneteenth is the medal for the marathon our ancestors endured, crossing the finish line of freedom against all odds. I rather cheer for the real victory, the one that acknowledges our struggle and survival, not the one that pretends we were free from the jump. To add a deeper layer to this convo, let's pull from the Torah, which speaks on the themes of justice and freedom that hit home from a story as Black Americans. One powerful verse in Deuteronomy 16 and 20, which says, "Justice and only justice you shall follow, that you may live and inherit the land that the Lord your God is giving you." This isn't just an ancient text, it's a call to action, reminding us to chase true justice, not a fake version of freedom like what the 4th of July represents for so long. Another gem can be found in Exodus 23 and 9, which states, "You shall not oppress the stranger. You know the heart of the stranger, having been strangers in the land of Egypt." Our ancestors knew oppression just like the Israelites did, and this verse pushes us to reject the celebration that ignores that pain. These words ground me in why I'm not waving the flags on the floor. Justice and memory matter more than a holiday built on half truths. Therefore, that's why I'm not grilling on the 4th of July. It's not about hating America. It's about recognizing that the holiday's history doesn't include my people's freedom. It's a day that reminds me of hypocrisy, exclusion, and even danger, not liberation. Instead, I'm saving my energy for God's holy days and the Juneteenth, for reflection and for pushing towards a future where independence means something to us. So what do you think? Do you celebrate the 4th, or do you sit it out like me? Please drop your thoughts in the comments and let's keep this conversation going. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more real talk on history and culture. Catch you in the next one. Peace.